Hello, everyone. Welcome to round four of the Charlotte Chess Center GM and IM Invitational. Here with me is National Master Tianqi Wang, Steve Wang, who just scored a big victory over International Master Martin del Campo. So that's a really good victory for you. That puts you at 3.5 out of 4. So in good position, for the tournament. So anyway, we've got your game pulled up here, so just give spectators, some insight on why certain moves were played and what you feel like the most important thing, important moments of the game.
So I played London because I realized that my opponent likes to play a kind of fianchetto setup in which he trades this light square bishop for one of these knights and then tries to play on a dark square. So I figured to avoid I should play London. So knight f6, bishop f4. So he opts for the fianchetto line. I thought it was King's India until he decides to fianchetto the other bishop. So I guess I'm not really sure how to name that afterwards. I'm not the biggest nomenclature expert on chess openings.
I don't think it has a name. I think in the London, like a double fianchetto is.
This is standard.
It's
Bishop b7, c3. I can also contemplate with c4, knight c3 with the idea of d5 and e4. Just move all my pawns up and grab space. I've already committed my knight to d2, so knight h5. So the reason I didn't play h3 is because I had bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, and now if black plays g5 and thinks that white's only move is bishop g3, and black must be mistaken because after knight e1, black knight on h5 is also hanging. So if black's knight falls back, then I have g3 again, and now I'm not getting captured.
Yeah, there's a discovery here on the knight. So a sample line was
knight
f4, and then something like this.
And I probably play something like bishop f3 to challenge the diagonal
bishop. Yeah, and then the game goes on. But he opted for a slightly more aggressive approach, if I remember.
Yeah, he tried to directly. He tried to directly trap my bishop. I don't know if it's going to definitively trap my bishop, but it was definitely one of those necessary moves that you have to make in order to trap this bishop on h4. So f5. And I figured that as long as I have 91, I can do some other meaningful things besides worrying about what's going on around this area. So a4, I believe a5 allows this knight c4, knight a3, knight a8, or just allows the free occupation of b5.
Right.
So he didn't play that. He goes queen e8, continues his plan of e5. So a5, e5.
Yep.
I want the d4 square for my knight, so I traded here.
Yep.
So when he goes e4, I have knight d4. So I played knight e1 here, because I have decided to come up with. So this was a on the spot inspiration from a blog from the Riga Pro League team's manager. He actually played this at is it a Malmo Open? I'm not sure. It was a tournament where he played Grandmaster Yuri Solodovny-Shenko, and he played e4, and he almost won the game too. Except great.
Right.
I digress. e4. So the idea is if black takes, I can play bishop c4 check, and it doesn't matter where the king moves. I am threatening to play queen e2.
So king moves, and then queen e2 going after this weak pawn.
You pick this pawn up, and then this e pawn and bishop on f6. It will be severe. It will be fatally weak. It will be fairly weak for the rest of the game. So how do I go? So e4.
He was suggesting in the analysis when you guys were analyzing that it's quite possible that here he shouldn't just automatically go knight to f6, but play e4 himself just to avoid what you did, because he really felt that after what happened in the game that he was just like positionally busted. I mean, that's how he felt. I mean, that's what I gathered.
He played bishop a6, which I thought it was interesting because it stops knight c4 now, or the bishop c4 check, because he can actually take and go queen c6. So I played knight c4. So the main threat is I have queen d5 check, and I pick up a free rook.
Right. Right.
So he went queen e6, which, okay, so it surprised me a little bit because I thought bishop b7 was the only move. because I think I looked at something similar, queen c6, but I can just play takes. Okay, so I thought queen c6, and then I play takes, and if he takes here, I can play check, queen takes, and then his rook is trapped.
Nice.
So he plays queen e6. So I figured if my knight goes back here, it's basically undoing what I just did. It's 93. If he wants to save the bishop, he drops the queen to bishop c4. So I believe he actually played a very, I thought it was a very wise in between move. Rook d8. So I have to play queen c2. It was the only move that doesn't drop a piece instantly. Queen e2. And he took here, which I'm not sure if it's the best thing to do given this situation to allow this split into two pawn islands. So I played knight g4 because I'm forking the h pawn and the e pawn. So he fell back defending the h pawn. I went queen e4, knight c6, and now he's starting to grab this pawn for free. So I have to trade it out. So I went knight f3 because this knight's had enough nap on e1. Back to rook d5. I'm not sure what rook d5 was meant. Oh, rook d5 was he supposed to try and defend knight d4? He was probably trying to defend knight d4, which is so knight d4 is actually a very so knight d4 is a very strong fork because the knight and queen are both hit, and the queen on e6 is not defended, so e takes is not an option.
Right.
So and when the queen falls back, I play knight takes c6.
He also is probably just, imagine like the move was played to like also defend this pawn, which you're going to start drilling pretty soon. So
I played knight e3 because I realized something. So rook d7, knight h4. So I'm just playing basically pretty much on the light squares. He only has rooks on the light squares, and also this knight's not protected, which.
Yeah, especially here.
Yeah. So I played knight f5, and he played.
This position, how did you feel in this position? Because optically it looks extremely.
I was already itching for some very unpleasant queen takes knight tactics.
Right.
Because knight e7 gets the queen back.
Right.
Rook a8. I played g3 just because he can't really do anything to my light square monopoly, so I can move my king up and do some cozy and comfy things while he doesn't really have any too meaningful things to do. G3 or queen g6. I think it's to just move out of the way so I don't have knight d4 anymore. So I played rook 81. I'm ready to get rid of the rooks just so I can to further strengthen my light square hold.
Yep.
Bishop f8. So I traded once because I figured I have h4. I was trying to play h4 and h5. Because h5 is basically challenging this queen. How is the queen going to keep defending the knight on c6?
Right. So your threat is to go h5, facing the queen away from
So he played takes, and obviously, so I found this queen c4 move, which was pretty good because queen f7 now runs into knight h6 check and drops the queen.
Right.
So he has to move his king somewhere, and I believe he went king h8. So I went knight takes. So because g takes was illegal move and queen h4, I'm not sure if that's the best thing to do.
Right. Just to show, so here, you can't take with. This was planned by you. It wasn't locked. After this, you can't take with the knight immediately because of this pin. So you throw this intermediate move in, which is what happened in the game, and then you took. So you keep queens on, and his king is just so busted here. Yeah.
Goes queen f6. I went queen e4. He went rook g7. No, did he go rook? No, he went a5. Sorry. I cannot remember. So I think I rushed a little bit here. I played f4, and I underestimated what bishop c5 was going to do because if I really wanted to play f takes because if he went queen e5, then obviously knight g6 wins the game.
Right.
Knight e5 hangs the queen, but I missed this move, which is a very nice. A nice save on Martin del Campo's part. Because I have to defend this pawn, I have to defend this knight, and I most likely have to drop this pawn. Because king f2, there's rook d2 check. Also, rook f7 also works.
Right.
So I decided not to because I realized that I can't take his pawn, but he can't take mine either because I played rook f2 here, but he can't take here because I have queen e8 check, and he drops the rook on d7 next turn. So rook f2, rook g7. I think he went rook g7. So I put king at h2, and it doesn't matter where my king goes to defend the g pawn because if I went here, I hang this knight. I hang this knight on h4.
Right.
So I went king h2, and he took here, which probably is not the most brilliant thing to do, but I'm not sure how black should be holding the e pawn. Rook f4, queen g5, knight ef5, bishop d6. So now this is a great tactic by Martin del Campo, even in time trouble. So if my knight's distracted and grabs the bishop, he goes queen g3, and I'm checkmated on the next turn right here. Highlight this. King h1, you can also just checkmate here.
Yeah.
So I decided to play this move, bishop f4, knight f5, and he went here. So I thought he had to play knight d8 or something, but I think he had like 10 seconds left, so he played this move in a hurry, but this loses to him.
Let's just backtrack a little bit because he's down a piece in this position, right? So
yeah, I thought he can try to go for this like 2 knights versus knight and 3 pawns.
So in this position here, when you went here, he's just got too many pieces hanging, right?
You got two.
Yeah, like this is hanging and this is hanging. And your knights do a good job of protecting everything. So where was like the ultimate blunder? So is this position's already just?
I think this was already lost. But,
yeah,
because this knight was chronically hanging the whole game, and it was already very hard for him to like either defend all the light squares on the king side and holding onto this knight.
Right.
So maybe a5 wasn't the best thing to do.
But I guess his king side is just so unsafe. Okay, so you finished with a nice, cute little tactic that we'll show.
Queen e5. So I put queen e5.
Yeah.
So for some reason I decided that black is going to take the knight on h4, and I was like, wait, that's a check.
That's a check. Yeah.
So he has to take here. Knight g6, and I picked this knight up.
And he resigned.
And he resigned because these pawns were going to drop pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, that was a good game, and I think in terms of, I think the critical moment of the game, from a positional standpoint, was definitely to get back here before e4. Yeah, I think. He basically thought, once he allowed you to play e4, like after knight f6, take, and e4, he thought, positionally speaking, like he never really had a chance back into the game. Of course, there are always tricks and everything, and then, okay, you played very well here. You played very well here to take advantage of the weaknesses on his king and so forth. So if you had to, let's say, give a couple tips that somebody at home watching this video could learn from this particular game, not like specific moves, but general ideas. Like, for example, with this, when the center is not closed, not expanding on the king side, because that what other like little tips would you give them after they've seen this game?
Yeah. I don't want to say anything is possible because usually you don't just ordinarily give. I feel like this might be a very inaccurate generalization about beginners, but I feel like beginners are probably very fanatic about the 2 bishops, and and this is why I want to say anything's. This is why I say anything's possible, because in here I voluntarily gave the 2 bishops up, but I didn't care because I was just going to focus on monopolizing all the light squares, and that would mean that one of the bishops that's not controlling the light square would be totally out of play.
Which is exactly what you ended up showing in the game. Like if we advance the position a little bit, once you got your knights, like these light squares, like he has a bishop, which like they often may hear say are better than knights, but of course it's always depending on the position. Yeah, and here you just dominated the weakened king and so forth. Yeah. So anyway, good game, and that puts you in a good position in the tournament. We won't talk too much about possible outcomes because it's round 4 and there's still 5 rounds left. But you're on the right track, and we're rooting for you, of course, as one of the North Carolina participants. So good luck in the rest of the tournament, and we hope to to have you back for another interview.
Yeah, thank you. I'll try my best again.